Fags, what likelihood do you give Harris to play on Friday?
He's a strong chance. He's been in full training now for a week and a half. And obviously we've got training today and another session Thursday morning that he's got to get through. But right now it's looking positive. I think by the time we get to Friday night, it's 28 days since he injured the hamstring, which is plenty of time for a hamstring to repair, given that 21 days is usually the standard. So provided he continues to train like he has over the last 10 days, we expect to be okay to play.
Is there, if there's any doubt, do you risk him or how is it?
I just take the advice of our medical people. It's not my decision to make. They just tell me whether he's in or he's out. So it's as simple as that.
Does Lynch not playing factor into that decision making?
Not at all. None. No, nothing. Not any way, shape or form. If Harris Andrews is fit, he plays because he's in our best team.
But with no Lynch, you must be fairly pleased to see that.
You guys were asking me about Harris Andrews a few weeks ago, and I said we're not the Harris Andrews Football Club. I'm pretty sure Richmond Footy Club aren't the Tom Lynch Footy Club, and they've proven over and over again over the last 3 years that they can cope with players out of their side because they have a very strong system that they believe in, and I'm sure that won't change for Richmond. And for us, we'll just be being prepared for the best that Richmond can offer.
What's different in your eyes this year, Chris, 12 months on from your last opportunity?
With our group, I think if you study our form over the year, I think we have less of a reliance on our absolute star players. We've seen remarkable improvement out of guys like Brandon Starcevic and Zach Bailey and Cam Rayner. You start naming players, you should name a few more, but Jared Lyons is another one. Jared Berry, Hugh McCluggage continues to improve. So it's no longer about Charlie Cameron and how many goals he can kick, and it's no longer about Lachie Neale and how many possessions he can get, or Harris Andrews for that matter. I think we've grown up as a team, and our guys understand that if you want to beat the best, you've got to be very even across the board. So I think we're in a better position in that regard.
Do you get sick of hearing the 11-year, 15-game hoodoo? Do you get sick of people talking about it?
Not really, because it's real. But what I would say is this. Across the course of the last couple of years in particular, we've played many teams that have had long winning runs against us, and we've been able to change that. There's one left, and we just want to embrace that challenge, and at some point in time we're going to change it. So it'll be great if it's on Friday night. But Richmond are a very old, experienced finals team. You look back on the Tigers, they lost 3 elimination finals in a row, and then didn't make the finals, and then they eventually won a premiership. It takes time to build a really strong finals unit. We're hopeful that the 2 games that we had last year will hold us in good stead. In fact, I'm not hopeful, I know they have. I know we're much better prepared for finals than we have been. And then it comes just down to how much we can improve against them on Friday night. But we're all very much looking forward to the opportunity, and all I can say is that the finals experience that we had last year has made us even keener this year to do well.
Redbold said last night that there's an aura around Richmond, that obviously they've won 2 of the last 3 premierships. Do you agree? Is there an aura around the Tigers?
Well, there's an element of respect around the Tigers for what they've done. Aura is a big word, sort of supernatural. I'm not sure they're supernatural, they're just human beings like we are.
Do you go as far as addressing with the players the challenge of ending that hoodoo and making it a thing where they can, you talk about embracing it, or does it just become a small element that is there but you don't need to address it? How big do you play it up?
Oh no, look, 2 years ago we put up a list of teams we haven't beaten for a long time, and we've been just ticking them off. So our players have been up to that sort of caper for a couple of years now, so this week is no different.
I'm loath to mention the goal kicking issues, but say on the weekend, if it's sort of 1-5 early in the game, are you concerned that there might be a bit of a fear that spreads through the team, or how do you handle the goal kicking situation?
Have you looked at the goal kicking accuracy over the last 3 or 4 weeks in the AFL? Have you?
No.
Do you know where we sit?
Probably near the top, I'm guessing,
top
if
4,
you bring it up.
Top 4. So we've done, as always, we've continued to work on it, and we've turned it around the last few weeks. So we look forward to a continuation of that on Friday night. And part of being mentally strong is not letting what happens in the game affect you too much, and you know, that's probably one of our learnings from last year's finals, and again from our Geelong game earlier in the season. We learnt plenty about that. We let some things affect us, so we'll just remain mentally strong if that happens, and just continue to attack and know that it'll turn around.
Chris, in this time between the last game of the regular season and this weekend coming, have you done anything like different than what you did sort of last year in that same time that might, you know, change things at all? Tinker with anything?
Nah, look, Richmond have got a system they believe in, and we've got a system that we believe in. There's little bits and pieces of the game that we're always trying to get better, but it's actually been really quite difficult this year to find the time to change too many things, because we've been limited via protocols with the things that we can do. And generally speaking, I don't think, in my experience in finals footy, if teams tinker with things in finals, it's a sign that they haven't really nailed it during the season. So we'll be going with what we do well, and trusting that will get the job done.
Jared Berry, right to go? Jared Berry, right to go?
Yeah, Jared's like Harris. He's been training fully for the last 2 weeks. So our expectation is, unless there's a mishap at training over the next couple of days, that he'll be available for selection.
Chris, you talk about time, and when you started here that you struggled to get media to Yeronga. Do you think the boys, with the pressure of Queensland now being the home of AFL at the moment, do they feel any pressure around that as well?
No, I think they see that as a great thing. You know, being able to sleep in their own beds and play in front of their own crowd is certainly an advantage. You know, we talked a little bit about Kathy Freeman in the last little while, and the pressure that she was under in those Olympics, because the documentary has recently been on the ABC, and how she coped with that. But that's just all part of it. That's no different for a team in Melbourne every year if they're playing the grand final at the MCG. All their fans are there, and the expectation is there. It's all part of it. Living with expectation and being able to cope with it. So I think we're better placed this year to do that.
Chris, is this another game, or is it a finals game to you and the players? How do you approach it?
It's sort of both, I guess. You don't want to put it up on too high a pedestal, because then it becomes like a big monster that it isn't really, because all that happens in a final is that there's a frenzy for the first 5 minutes, and then the game settles down. But you know, it's a new season now. We understand that the consequences of a positive result as an opportunity to go into a prelim final and be only a game away from a grand final, and that's certainly what we're aiming to do. So that won't be lost on the players, it's not lost on the staff, but in terms of our routine and how we prepare, it's the same as every other week, because that's what you're trying to do during the season, prepare in a way that will stand up in finals.
Most teams have been accustomed to playing in front of really small crowds, hundreds of people in some cases, and you got your home crowd behind you. West Coast got the same, Port got the same this week. Is it a big advantage to feel with crowds coming back to play in this environment against a team that isn't accustomed to having an opposition against them?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but you know, perhaps even if the opposition's against them, the teams that are playing in finals will appreciate crowd noise, because it brings atmosphere. So I don't really know. I don't know if there's been any research done on that. I think that's probably in basketball. They always talk about the home court advantage. It's the noise of the crowd. So potentially that's something, but it's not anything that we're relying on or have talked about.
I guess opposition aside, hooters and all that aside, you talk about that carrot of winning this weekend. You got into a prelim at the Gabba and one game away from a grand final at the Gabba. That must be a massive motivation for everyone.
I would have thought so. Again, it's something you don't need to talk to the players about, because they're acutely aware of it. And the great thing is that they've been able to put themselves in that position 2 years in a row now. You know, often you see teams pop up and they have a great year and then they're not so good the next year. And I think, you know, to some degree that was perhaps the expectation that everybody had of us, that we just popped our heads up and it would only be a flash in the pan. But to the credit of our players, they were so disappointed about how we exited the finals last year, that they've worked really, really hard over the summer and in the COVID break. And I think they've demonstrated by their actions that they want to get back and have another crack and put it all on the line. So we're just looking forward to that.
Chris, I just want to ask.
Prestia to play. He hasn't played in a long time, and if he does, how much impact could he have?
I think they said he was playing, didn't they? So yeah, we'll expect him to play. And I don't know. I don't know him in person, so I don't know how well he copes with playing a game when he hasn't played one for such a long time. But that's Richmond's call, not ours.
Chris, just want to ask you on Dustin Martin. He's obviously gives any team troubles when he goes forward, and he did that to you guys in the same match last year. How difficult, I mean, you've been in the game for a long time, how difficult is he to prepare for?
Oh, he's difficult because he's a great player, but he's like anyone else. He's got strengths and weaknesses. And we also know about team defence. If the ball gets down there quickly, he's going to be a handful. If the ball doesn't get down there quickly, it's not so easy for him because there's more of a crowd. So, you know, our ability to defend the full oval and to slow Richmond's ball movement down is going to be critical in the game.
Last one, fellas.
I'm all good too, is he?
With Harris coming back, is it, well, you know...
You've called it.
Like almost with what's his name, Jack Payne, is it just a matter of him going out, or you're not sure yet?
Yeah, probably that will be the case. And he's been great, and the 3 or 4 games that he's played have been a fantastic experience for him. And you know, we know if he does go out of the side and we have to call on him again during the finals, that we know that he can get the job done. And more importantly, we know now that he's going to be a very good player for us in the future. So it's a win all round.